So hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Chisomiduma if you're seeing my face for the first time, and to my returning subscribers, hi. Yeah, I know it's long time no see. Yeah, I've actually been away for like very good reasons, but long and short of everything is I'm back, and I'm back to stay. Okay guys, so where did we stop on this channel? Yes, so I showed you guys how our trip to Ehugbo was, but I didn't show you guys New Year's Day, and I didn't show you guys our departure. I'm going to be doing all of that. I saved all of that, but for now guys, there's something really important I'd like us to start our channel this year with, and it's 7 wrong things Nigerians do under the guise of culture. I'm going to be showing exactly how this kind of attitude takes its root from culture. Call it wrong, call it annoying, call it not 2022 things Nigerians do, and how not to be part of this, and the solution to this. Yeah, because it doesn't just end with talking about the problem. What are you doing about it? Okay, so the first one is womb watching. Okay, they say it's not womb watching. I actually shared this one on my WhatsApp just a few days ago, and I feel like it should top the list. And you know, this comes in different ways. Yeah, I don't know if there's the same thing with those of you who live outside of Nigeria, or those of you who are not even Nigerian. So if that is the case where you are, let me know in the comment section. Now, in Nigeria, the typical thing people do is, when you see a couple who are married and they don't have a child yet, it doesn't even matter if they've been married 2 seconds. It doesn't even matter if they've been married just a year. It doesn't even matter if they've been married 2 years. It doesn't matter if they want to have children or not. It, like, nothing matters. You start to make sly comments. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's like it has entered, you know. You're watching and these things are never really told to the man, yeah. Most of the times, the people who are on the receiving end, my gender, and the culprits, the people who do it to my gender as well. So you see people already telling the wife, it's like it has entered, though, or this one, you're still looking hot. What are you waiting for? You don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. That's the truth. You don't know how much people are trying, maybe at that point of anxiety, and what they don't want is all those silly comments are really not necessary. And it doesn't even end here, guys. It also continues when you have 1 or 2 and people feel like there is a need to have more. You see them, they'll start insinuating like, is it not time to go again? Is it not time to do this? You don't know the price. You don't know there are people who suffer secondary infertility. You don't know their plans. You don't know their pockets. You just say things because, you can afford to say them. Or there are even people who, when they notice that this person is beginning to look pregnant, they're already, it's like another one has entered, though. It's like this one. They will go as far as pressing you and pressing you till you now tell them, or no. Like, I'm wondering, how is that your business, for crying out loud? And the thing is, when it comes to a woman here, women go through a lot. Like, I cannot overemphasize this. Women go through a lot. I've seen a woman who looked every shade of pregnant, and thank God I'm not that kind of person who is into idle talk. I didn't say anything. If you don't tell me, I will never comment. Not because I don't care, but because I've been in that situation where I wish people held their peace instead of saying certain things. And it turns out that this woman was just undergoing fertility treatment, and she looked so bloated, so pregnant. Imagine if I had told her, because even up until now, the fertility treatment hasn't worked. She hasn't taken it. Do you understand? There are some people who maybe they've had a bad experience in the past, and so before they get to a point where they are comfortable announcing their pregnancy, it takes a while. The least you can do is to be human. Now, I'm not talking about friends and family, people who genuinely care about you, because those people will make this kind of careless comments. And you know the thing, these comments are not even made like, they don't call you aside and ask you, what's happening? This one has not entered. Is there any challenge? I know of this doctor. No, they don't do that. Maybe while you guys are in public, you know, that kind of group of 3 or 4 or 5 One person just starts a conversation, and next thing they are jabbing, next thing you're saying this, or maybe you just call out to the person and say it. Truth is, if you do this, guys, this video is for you. Please desist from this. They may not say it, they may say it. Just allow people live their lives. Allow people to go through the challenges life throws at them. Allow them to overcome. Don't be a reason why they feel worse than they should feel. African Nigerian culture, it's majorly communal, okay? So there are older wives who have the responsibility of always telling the younger wives, your baby is now walking, it's time to go again. And you know, it becomes a thing. It becomes like, once you become an older person, the responsibility has been passed down to you to remind the younger ones. Like, these things are actually unspoken, but there are things you could relate to, like way back, from literature, from stories, from a lot of things. And so we want to continue, but this is 2022. The least you guys can do, if you're a subscriber on this channel, you came across this video, is to adjust, desist, stop it. Thank you. So yeah, number two may sound funny, but there is nothing funny about it, and that is horn blaring. Blaring of horns. It's a thing in the African Nigerian culture too. When you pass someone you know, you greet. When you pass an elder, you greet. When you see our movies, our Nollywood movies, when they show epic village scenes, when you see people going to the village, they greet. Sorry, going to the village river, they greet. You see them going anywhere, they greet. Basically, that's just what I want to establish here. So we have now carried this thing into cars, okay? So when you're driving, you see someone you know, and maybe you guys are not at a distance where you can stop and say hi, you just horn. It's normal, okay? And let's also establish that the way we use horns in Nigeria is not the way horns are used outside the country, okay? But that's not a problem. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm someone who stands for individuality, like, provided it doesn't hurt anyone. I'm someone who believes in culture. I don't like it when people make it look like getting modernized means losing our culture, like, provided it's not wrong. But you know where horn blaring is wrong? When, because you use your horns to greet people, to pass message, you now feel like even when you're within a residential area, you can still use your horns to talk. Like, no, right now almost all schools are on holidays, though they are just at the brink of resumption. So that means kids sleep really late, parents sleep really late, and they wake up, the kids wake up like quite late too. So 3-4 days ago, yeah, my baby was asleep, and this was around 6:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And so this guy came back. There is this guy who recently moved into the estate, and that guy talks, he speaks his language with his horn, literally. We know when he leaves for work in the morning, we know when he comes back. And this guy's house just happens to be adjacent to my house. So he got back, and because the living area is quite a distance from the gate, and I don't think he has a security man yet. I know all these details because his house is one of the finest houses in the estate, and we really admire his house every time. So he came back, and maybe he blared a horn, or maybe he called and no one responded. You guys can't believe what this guy did. This guy put his hand on his horn for at least 1:30 seconds without stopping. He did it twice, and then someone heard from the house and got back. And I was so offended. I was so offended. Like, and you know, sometimes I run wild in my thoughts, in my imagination. So in my head, I had already picked a stone and I had already thrown it on his car, because I was like, if you want to be a source of public nuisance, let's teach you also that two can play that game. Do you get? So I feel like it's not a bad thing to want to say hi with your horns, to blare your horns, to do whatever. But when you're within a residential area, please watch it. Watch it. People are sleeping, people are praying, people are doing different things. So yeah, let's go to number 3. Hiding the refusal to evolve behind proverbs. Does this make sense? Hiding behind proverbs when in actual fact you don't want to evolve. And this goes to the older people of our generation. Now, if you're Nigerian, I bet you've heard this proverb that what an older person sees sitting, even if a young person climbs an iroko tree, that person cannot sit. And just a few days ago, I was watching a video and someone was like, okay, if the younger person climbs the tree and cannot see it, the person will fly a drone. And trust me, with a drone, they can see it. But yeah, this is not to downplay the place of experience and foresightedness that comes from aging, basically. This is not to downplay it. But this also to say that when older people do things, they should realize that there is, one, the divine principle in young people. And secondly, there is wisdom everywhere. Okay, for instance, let me use a practical example. Now, a lot of people are advocating for parenting without the use of bad words, all of those crude methods, yeah. And then you see people who just vehemently refuse to, and ask them why. They'll say, this is how we were raised, this is how we will raise our own kids. And you know, by doing that, you don't want to evolve, you don't want to learn, you don't want to get better. Why not learn? Why not open your mind and then learn, okay, this is what this young generation have to say, this is what I feel, and in the end, let the person with the best arguments win. Not best argument because you argue so well, but the argument that makes the most critical thoughts, if there is anything like that. By doing that, you teach the younger person that wisdom is not cast on anybody's name, okay? We can all learn from ourselves. The world is improving. The earth is evolving. So, I don't know why you should not. Number 4. Giving unsolicited advice. Nigerians left the group chats. I haven't seen a group of people who give unsolicited advice like Nigerians, especially Nigerian women. Sometimes when you give unsolicited advice, especially to strangers, you water down the content of the advice because that may not be the right time for the advice. I mean, you're sitting behind a woman in church, you don't tell her anything, no. And then she's like, this baby has been cranky, cover her hair, open her body, do this. Like I said, if you look at it critically, you know it stems from our communal culture, the need to look out for one another and all of that, which is a beautiful thing. But I feel like sometimes when you're dealing with your fellow adults, allow them to know that they are independent, regardless of how old you are. Like you're saying may just be misinterpreted, what you're saying may be coming at the wrong moment, and what you are saying may not be what that person needs to hear at that time. Allow people to ask for your opinion on issues before you begin to stuff it down their throats. Thank you. Number 5, if I'm not counting wrong, is calling on well-meaning Nigerians on social media instead of taking action. Now, don't take this out of context. I realize that social media is actually a very great tool for raising awareness, yeah, getting help and all of that. You can actually get the right authorities and the right people to help you in certain situations. I understand that. What I'm talking about is a situation where you need to take action. A situation where you need to do something. You now come and sit down in front of your video and say, I'm calling on well-meaning Nigerians. Who are the well-meaning Nigerians? I don't know what happened between a child and the child came and put it on social media. I'm calling on well-meaning Nigerians. When a husband and a wife have an issue that is not life-threatening, like Two-Face Idibia and the wife will come on social media and start saying all kinds of things, because in the end, majority of people who are on social media are there to get entertained, believe it or not. They'll read your story, they'll make comments. If it's very juicy, it will trend for 2 days, and that is the end. They will jump on to the next one. Number 6 is elders claiming perfection. If you're an African child, you're a Nigerian child, you know that your parents were the prefects in school, your parents came first in school, your parents were the good boys and the good girls in school. Your parents did not associate with the bad girls and bad boys in school. Your parents were the perfect people. And you now start to ask yourself, so who were the bad ones? Who were the bad influence? Who? These people now that our parents used to avoid, who are they? Are they not parents too? And I find that that is very ineffective when you're parenting kids, especially this Gen Zs that are smarter than their ages. Wherever you made mistakes as a person, it's not a bad thing to own up, even if you're talking to children, because children can actually learn from where you made mistakes and you thrived. And then finally is generalizing suffering. Let me tell you the one you can really relate to. When you were in school, you now write a course and you fail that course, and you're not the only one that failed. Say in a department of 80 people, about 76 failed. Best take it from me that 80% of people who failed do not feel bad, because they're like, it's not only me, like there was mass failure. And the thing is, when you generalize suffering like this, when you make it look like it's not so bad when you suffer as a group, you don't even realize that that is the point where you can stand out. I feel like we should start to encourage difference makers, people who see what is happening around and decide that, no, my case is different. I won't tolerate what other people are tolerating. Usually, those are the people that end up saving the rest of the people. Comes to share something with you, and usually they expect you to advise them from a place of, I can relate. No, I don't have to relate to what you're sharing with me for me to be able to give you good advice. Okay, just a few weeks ago, social media was agog because of Minister Osinachi, who was allegedly killed by her husband in the price of domestic violence. And I bet you see, like, when something like that happens, usually because of our culture of generalizing suffering, she could just come to somebody and complain. And instead of you to give someone like that the right advice in that situation, you now hear people coming up with this kind of sayings that always annoy me. They'll say, oh, every marriage has its own problem. Every marriage has its own challenges. No, those things are wrong. Stop saying it like that. Okay, when you say it like that, you make people who are in abusive marriages, abusive situations, to feel like that is their own cup to bear. I don't have to experience it to be able to advise you, and you don't have to wait for me to experience it for you to now take my advice. Because if we all experience it, what now is there to look out for? Yeah, not everybody has to endure their marriage. Not everybody has to suffer in their marriage and wait for eternal gratification. No, there are people who are actually enjoying their marriage. There are people who, if you ask, between being single and being married, which one will you choose? They will choose to be married to that person again and again. There are people who are better off because they are married, and you have to look at these people as the goal. Don't feel that everybody is suffering. If everybody is suffering, so you will just keep suffering, then what's your goal? I don't know why people do that, because someone like me, if I didn't have good marriages as examples growing up, if I didn't have good examples to look forward to, I will not marry. Like, I don't even care who is saying it. I will stay on my own. And when someone comes to tell you something, don't always, maybe when the person is done, you not say, my dear, your own is even better. Do you know my own? No. These are things I feel like Nigerians, Africans do under the guise of culture, which is wrong. If you have any other wrong thing you feel like we do that is affiliated to culture, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about these points I have outlined, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.